Hey guys, welcome to the next SciCraft episode. As you've seen in the time-lapse, we've been really busy. Between the episodes, we built up the one-white TNT Duper that removes the bedrock removers. So we got a bedrock remover. There's only the question, who's gonna remove this machine in the end? Yeah, probably the player. You might have also noticed that we built up the machine actually a bit low in the time-lapse. This was a mistake. We built it up around Y45. And this was too close to the machines because TNT was jumping back up from the explosions, destroying parts of the TNT Dupers. So the first set of TNT Dupers actually got blown up, and then we had to move it like 30 blocks higher. It was a silly mistake. It's actually always the same issue we have with those TNT Dupers. Should have just a bit more clearance in between. Alright, then progress update, Project Skyblock. Yeah, we did a lot of progress in between a week. Pretty much every day I'm building 6 to 8 of those Y0 bedrock removers that we also try to run each day. The most boring part pretty much is placing the pistons. We've been thinking about making an automated system to place the pistons, but it's probably not really worth it. It just gets too complicated. So you can see there's a lot of bedrock removed already. We got those really wide strips now. I think that's the first one is like 60 blocks wide. The others also 45. So we removed already about 450,000 Y0 bedrock. Put that in perspective, it's quite a lot. Also, I got really good at building those machines. Well, the first tries was always around 40-45 minutes. Now I got the building time for one of those Y0 bedrock removers down to to 12 minutes. So improved by a factor of 4 almost. And there's still potential to go even lower. So the main improvements why I'm doing this quicker was obviously we spent a lot of time in creative, optimizing the machine, just getting rid of unnecessary blocks. Now there's not much potential left. In between the episodes I actually got rid of another 20 to 25 blocks, but now it's getting harder and harder. Like yesterday I actually got rid of one more observer. I was really proud of it, but that's pretty much it. What we can do now. What I'm mostly now improving is I got a fixed route how I go through building those machines. So I know exactly what to do. I'm always doing the same thing, and I'm also trying to improve the route to be as efficient as possible. Not quite sure how low we can push the time. I'm quite sure I can go below 12 minutes even, but if it's possible to go below 11, probably below 10, unlikely. We'll see. It's definitely a lot of fun speedrunning this build. Definitely adds an extra challenge to it, because if you would just need to build 2 of those machines and that's it, it would be quite boring. So I like the extra challenge. Alright, as you can see, a lot of the slots are already filled up with machines again. I just need 2 more and a lot of pistons to be placed. You can launch it again and the TNT Dupers take it out. We've also been discussing a little bit last week because some people were asking in the comments of the last video how we're gonna play Skyblock exactly. We're probably gonna be more restrictive with the scenario than with the classic Skyblock map, which we build up here. Currently we're thinking it's probably a good idea if we spread the players out, so we don't have like 6 or 7 players on the same island and sometimes just waiting for one tree to grow. It's probably better if we have different islands for each of the players, and we're also more restrictive with the materials we give the player. So each player will start with 1 sapling, maybe even a different tree type than oak, so we get at least all 5 tree types. 5 dirt blocks or grass blocks, and 1 magma block. We won't supply the player with water. It's gonna be a challenge to get the water. The route would be at some point make some kind of a mob spawner, wait for zombies to spawn, and hope for the rare drop, the iron ingot. Once we got enough of those, we can make a cauldron. And there are some river biomes between the desert biomes, which we have mostly, where rain would fall. And once a cauldron would be filled up, yeah, that's how we can get our water source with another bucket. Get the iron ingots from the zombies, obviously. So this would be the extra challenge. We start without water even. Then we still need to discuss, for example, I think every island will also have a bed on top, so we can set the spawn point, and probably an ender chest, so we can just deposit all of our stuff in there, which we bring over from playing the normal world, but we just agree that we don't touch the ender chest. There's also no chance to get an ender chest in our playthrough, because we probably will play without the nether. There's unfortunately no nether fortress at the corresponding nether side of the Skyblock map, so the only thing we could get from the nether is gold. And there's really no reason to get gold from the nether if you can get it from the overworld, just by smelting mob armor, or you could even convert picks with lightning strikes into zombie pigmen and get gold nuggets this way. So there's a lot of ways you can get gold in the overworld. In 1.13 even they call it the drowned mobs, they would also drop it, so we don't need to go to the nether since we can't get any blaze rolls for brewing stands or even wither skeleton skulls. Alright, so that's enough for Project Skyblock. We hope that we can maybe start playing in mid or late March. Currently we're making a ton of progress. I'm super busy building machines every day. Probably spent like 3-4 hours on here. Yeah, it's just a matter of time now. Alright, enough for Project Skyblock. We're gonna go over to the Quad Witch Hut area, because we still need to build up the farms there. So we're back at the Quad Witch Hut perimeter, the first perimeter we ever made on SciCraft, almost 4 years ago, and this place was actually dug by hand. Okay, so a little recap what happened lately. We decided also to lag optimize this perimeter. That's why we placed down a lot of cobblestone here, so we had layer Y15 here. So everything below got filled up with cobblestone, and then we put a layer of slime on top in order to optimize that layer as well. Still got the leftover witch farms, but we're gonna completely remove those as well, because we're gonna also do the lag optimization by filling up the area below the witch farms with sand. We've done it a few times now for the double witch huts, and this is by far the most boring part. It takes about 1.5 to 2 hours to manually place all the about 60,000 sand blocks for one witch hut. You could also use gravel, of course, or concrete powder. And I was thinking, I really don't want to do this again. Spending 8 hours placing sand here, we should automate this somehow and then just do it AFK. The problem is I'm not quite sure how to do it yet, so we somehow just need an AFK player placing blocks at one point and then distributing it over the whole area. I guess we'll go in the creative world and just gather some ideas how we could do it and just come up with a solution. Alright, now we're in a creative world. It's actually 2 days later for me, and it gave me enough time to think about the whole problem we're having right here. And I think I was too focused on the sand. So we've been using sand before, manually. It's nice, it falls down, easy to place. And I thought, no, okay, now we just need to automate that process somehow. But we should actually maybe look at other alternatives, because we have to fill the area under the witch hut with any block that stops the spawning algorithm. So this could also be cobblestone, which could also be automatically generated. Yeah, so we have a lot of options, and I thought it would be nice if you could maybe make this semi-automatic, or even do most of the work manually even. If you would have a lava curtain and turn it into cobblestone, this would also work for us. And I've been experimenting a little bit in this creative world here, how we could get it to work. So definitely first we need the lava curtain here, and then we need to place water next to it. So what I've observed is also really beneficial if we stop the lava from spreading to the side at the bottom. So we're just gonna punch out a row of blocks. What I have observed is if we place the water right next to the lava curtain of the flowing lava, then it only works partially. You can see the result isn't that great. Not quite sure what's causing it. It's just the water mechanics somehow is probably a bit complex, and I just don't fully understand it right now. So what we want to do instead of placing the water right next to it is placing one block over, and this basically gives us a clean result. So I'm just gonna remove this again. So remove that cobble. Now we gotta wait a little bit until lava flows down again. I think we could just speed this up a little bit with the random ticks. Game rule, random tick speed. Still 112. So that's why this is a thing. Okay. So if we place it one block over the water, then we get a nice cobblestone wall. Not right now. Okay. Seems like I messed it up. Not quite sure. Worked over there. I'm gonna try this again. Maybe I'll find the issue. I have to admit, I don't fully understand why it doesn't work over there. Here I tried it out earlier a few times, and I got a perfect result. So let's try this again. Yeah, you get a perfect cobble wall. The only thing is different is the width. So I could imagine that maybe the water trying to flow to a lower block, which is a mechanic, influences the result somehow. But here with the wider system, I get a perfect cobble wall. And this is actually quite easy to do. So the next step would be removing this cobble here. Then the lava can even flow one block over. Just need to set this row of blocks back. And I can place the water here again. Oh no, I actually forgot to punch out some blocks here at the bottom. That should fix it. Then we can place the water again. So this is actually something we could manually do. Not quite sure if it's beneficial compared to placing sand, but we placed so much sand. I'm actually glad it's just, I don't know if it would be something different we can do for once. Okay, now we also don't get the perfect result. Is it maybe... I actually don't know what's going on. Okay, this is quite odd. Yeah, so those water lava mechanics are sometimes quite odd. I'm quite sure there's a perfect explanation for this, but at the moment I just don't get it. So now we have lava directly next to water. Pretty much the same situation. And no cobble forms. But it does once I remove the water source, the lava sources. Yeah. Yeah, maybe it is actually random tick caused if you have some issues with the cobblestone forming. You could definitely imagine it. You can definitely see I increase the random tick speed. That result isn't quite perfect. Let's actually try this with default random tick speed as well. Okay, now random tick speed is 3. It's the default value. So put the water in, remove the lava sources, and let's see what happens. So now I'm actually quite sure that the random ticks are the cause of the issues we're having. Seems like we already got one here at the top. Below, the solid looks quite good. Don't see a reason why it would fail all of a sudden, except maybe something random that could happen. Yeah, so this looks actually quite good. Yeah, I'd say we actually try this out in survival. If you have huge issues with this technique, we can still go back to placing sand, but I just want to try this out just because it's something different. Alright, let's head back to the survival world. So, back from the time lapse, and if you've seen, the results weren't really good with the cobblestone. Oh, I'm getting harassed by mobs. This is quite dangerous now, because we actually got a really high mob cap if we would fly around. Yes. We have a few accounts on currently, loading some of the witch farms, so it's a bit dangerous outside. Okay, I guess I'm gonna talk about it from a safe distance. Alright, here you won't be harassed by mobs. So yeah, so it didn't work out with the cobble, too many holes in between. I guess this technique just doesn't work properly. Random ticks mess with it, and I'm also quite sure the way the water flows has an influence on it. So we gave up on that, then we used sand instead, but I'm really sick and tired of placing sand. So we'll try to figure out something better in the next episode. What I still want to do is put a coating around the witch farm, because obviously this looks a bit odd. I was thinking about using planks like for the walls, maybe also alternating birch and spruce planks. I think this would also look at least a little bit better than just plain concrete. Alright, but in the next episode I actually want to build a stone generator, similar to what we did here for the first 10 layers here at the bottom. The way we're gonna do this is probably make a 50 high cobble generator and then push a column of blocks into position of flying machines. I guess this is quite promising. But there's also another idea how we could maybe use sand instead. So that was the first idea I had. I guess we'll just try around a little bit and see if we can find a good concept. And now we also added some coding around, but that's the last thing for this episode. Thanks so much for watching, and see you next week when we're gonna design the new stone generator. Bye bye!